Hello you wonderful people, I'm Sarah and I'm doing this video again by request. This was actually one of the first videos that I did on this channel 5-6 years ago when my kids were all little and cute. The reason I'm doing it again is just to make it a bit easier to follow. Of course, my video editing styles have changed since then. I have actual cameras, not cell phones that I'm recording on. And also the prices, of course, over that time span, the prices of things change. Now, this wraps recipe is not your standard flour, water, tortilla style wrap. This one, it does incorporate milk and butter. It's more filling. And I think this recipe is much better if you're having it for a dinner. Tonight, well, I'm actually doing some pork mince wraps with some coleslaw, and they're nice and substantial. I find I only really need one, whereas if I was doing just the flour and water type tortillas, I may need a few. So in a bowl that you can stick in the microwave, or you can melt this in a saucepan, you want about 3 tablespoons of butter or cheap table spread, however you roll. 2 cups of milk. Doesn't matter what type of milk. Now this is actually, this might look rather thick. It's actually some whey that's left over from making my Greek yogurt. It was a batch of mine that didn't turn out that well and a lot of it drained through, hence why this whey actually looks more white than its usual yellow colour. But, you know, if you've got whey to use, this is a good way to use it. See what I did there? Good old mum joke. Otherwise, just use milk, that's fine. Now we're going to put this in the microwave just until the butter has gone nice and melty. You can just melt it on the stovetop, in a pan, whatever works for you. There we go. It doesn't matter if the butter doesn't melt completely, just, you know, so that it's nice and smushy, so you can just mix that all together. 4 cups of plain flour. And about 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix that in, and that is the basic ingredients. You want to leave the flour out because we'll be using more of that. You just want to judge how much more flour to add here. You will want to add flour to the bench, of course, when you're rolling them out. But if you look at that, you know, you can see that's sticky. I'm not going to want to get in there. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Because I'm actually trying to work out a price for you guys, I will measure 1 more cup's worth of flour and I'll sprinkle it, and I'll let you know if I end up using I'd probably allow for 1 more cup of flour, including the stuff that you need to sprinkle on the bench. See, often I just do things by eye and I don't really think about measurements. So, you know, I'm doing my videos, I try and actually measure. Yeah, I used a whole nother cup there. See, I would have just cheated and allowed for, you know, 4 cups and given you Dad the price, when in fact I actually put a whole nother cup in there. Future reference, I'm going to alter my recipe that I've got. I've actually got this written on the back of my cupboard. This is stuff that I make regularly, like my tray baked crumpets and my basic bread recipe. And these wraps, I've actually got them written down and they're on the inside of my cupboard. So, I'm going to get some more flour, sprinkle that on the bench. A big old mess. Just give this a bit of a knead until there's no sticky bits. Nothing worse than rolling them out and getting it all stuck to the rolling pin. That's just unfun. I'm going to make about 10 wraps with this. Still a bit sticky. I'm going to, do you know what? I'm going to tell you guys 6 cups of flour. So to allow for the flour that I use to get rid of all this. I'm not going to shortchange you some flour. Before you start doing this, take your wedding rings off, because seriously, I've got all dough mixture in my blooming. Alright, so just form each of those into a ball. I've had to concede that my 9-year-old son actually cooks these in the frying pan to perfection. He does it beautifully. He does it better than I do. And it's, well, there's not really an art to it, but somehow he still does it better than me. Here's the professional. He's just heating the pan up with a bit of oil in it. Now do my just flour and water tortillas. I don't find I really need oil in the pan because they don't stick. But with these you do need a bit of oil. So I'm just going to roll this into a circle-ish. And then I take them over to the professional wrap cooker. Give him his favourite spatula. Aston's just divulged his secret to me. Apparently, you put it on a hot pan for 20 seconds, then flip it. If that first side is not cooked to your liking, then give it another 20 seconds, flip it back. It'll depend on your stovetop though. But another little tip is a tea towel next to the pan, and especially if you want them, you know, nice and fresh and warm. And then as you're cooking them, just put them on the tea towel. Next. And then, yeah, just fold the tea towel over the top so they're sandwiched in the tea towel. And that way they stay all nice and warm and soft until you're ready to eat them. And the extractor fan's gone on now, so apparently I'm to stop talking and just get on with it. There we go. I don't think I need to do a taste test if we're being honest. I mean, these are just, they're lovely, they're sturdy, they're soft, they're pliable, they're filling. Most importantly,
filling than store-bought.
Oh, they're so much more filling than store-bought.
Way more.
Can we not burp on camera?
I just had a
See,
glass.
this is why you don't work with children. You just know. So there we go.
Then you go ahead and burn the wraps.
Yeah, then I'd burn the wraps. He's not wrong. Hit like. Leave me a comment down below. Hit subscribe for his sake, if not for mine. And we'll catch you next week. Bye. Roll it on the jumbo.